NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
My life was so hard. Everybody's f***ing life is hard.
Yeah,
you were the prince of a
That's true.
goddamn country who dressed up as a fucking Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
Now for the tricky part. Place in microwave. What is microwave? I don't think we have any of that.
Are you fucking dumb?
It's a microwave, silly.
Don't talk to me like that, you bitch! I'm a fucking duchess! Ugh! Ugh! Shake that off!
Oh!
Meghan Markle just picked up a title she probably never expected. Most disliked public figure of 2025. Yes, really. She went from a little-known TV actress to a duchess and somehow managed to spark tension across the entertainment world faster than anyone predicted. That kind of shift doesn't happen quietly. Late-night hosts, comedians, and satirists suddenly had endless material. She became a regular punchline, and the spotlight didn't exactly paint her in a flattering way. Many critics say her own interviews, statements, and public appearances added to the backlash. Fair or not, the reaction snowballed fast, and it hasn't slowed down since. So today we're breaking down the celebrities who played a role in shaping that narrative. And we have to start with the comic who said what many people were already whispering, but few were bold enough to say out loud. Chris Rock didn't just tease Meghan in a casual joke. He questioned the entire storyline she presented to the public and challenged it in front of millions. He pointed out that marrying into a royal institution with centuries of history comes with expectations, traditions, and yes, complications. His take was blunt, direct, and impossible to ignore. Whether people agreed with him or not, one thing was clear. He saw the situation differently, and he wasn't shy about saying it. Critics have argued that the royal institution has always come with layers of history.
You had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because I wouldn't think she was black if I looked at her, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from race.
Protocol and controversy. Acting shocked by that reality, some comedians joked, felt unrealistic. One comic even compared it to joining a complicated system and then acting stunned when complications show up. That comparison hit hard, and audiences reacted fast. Then things escalated. The moment involving speculation about what a future child might look like turned into a global controversy. Chris Rock weighed in and suggested that conversations about appearance within families aren't automatically scandalous. His point was that context matters, and that not every awkward comment equals a headline-level crisis. That take stirred debate everywhere. Once that perspective was said out loud, more hosts felt comfortable speaking up. Joe Coy took the stage at the Golden Globe Awards and didn't hold back. In one sharp line, he described the couple as part of a wealthy, dramatic family story that somehow still lacked real entertainment value. Award show hosts usually keep it polite, but that night, the gloves were off. Then came the streaming jokes. The massive deal with Netflix became easy comedy material. Big money, unclear results, and projects that didn't exactly dominate the cultural conversation. Late-night writers had a field day with that. Jimmy Kimmel stepped in next and focused on the memoir. He poked fun at the length, the tone, and the dramatic storytelling. To him, it read like a long vent session from someone born into extreme privilege. The audience laughed and the clip traveled everywhere online. Even Jimmy Fallon joined the wave, teasing Meghan's lifestyle ventures and polished content. The jokes weren't subtle. They painted a picture of ambition mixed with overexposure. One by one, major hosts turned the situation into material.
Guinness record for fastest selling nonfiction book of all time. The story of Prince Harold and his frozen yogurt slinger is so popular, they're now releasing a version for kids. I don't know if you know about this. It's a twist on The Princess and the Pea. It's called The Prince and the Penis, and it's
Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
It's another bag.
And that confuses people.
This, we're just gonna put into a...
And suddenly, the late-night circuit had a shared theme they couldn't resist. Instead, that pretzel bag moment went viral for all the wrong reasons. What was probably meant to feel relatable ended up looking awkward and out of touch. Critics said it felt like a wealthy celebrity trying way too hard to seem ordinary, and the internet never forgets moments like that. Then came the media marathon. One high-profile interview wasn't enough. The conversation with Oprah Winfrey made global headlines. After that, there was the docuseries with Netflix. And still, the appearances kept coming, including a sit-down on 60 Minutes. To some viewers, it started to feel like overexposure. The more they spoke, the more divided public opinion became. Even Stephen Colbert joined the wave of commentary. The way they referred to each other as H and M became easy late-night material. Critics joked it sounded less like natural nicknames and more like branding strategy. The effort to appear down-to-earth while living an ultra-public life just didn't land the way they hoped. Colin Jost was actually ahead of the curve. Long before the backlash peaked, he hinted that the couple might struggle to find their footing anywhere. The idea that neither America nor Britain fully embraced them became a recurring punchline. The image painted was of two public figures stuck between worlds, unsure where they truly belonged. As for Harry, some commentators argued he gave up a structured royal path for a future filled with uncertainty. Instead of boosting his relevance, critics claim the marriage shifted the spotlight in unexpected ways. When Saturday Night Live turns your relationship into a recurring comedy concept, that's when you know you've become part of pop culture satire.
To hear Harry and Meghan's story, in case you missed their 2-hour sit-down with Oprah or their 6-part Netflix documentary.
Has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Interestingly, Trevor Noah initially took a different angle. At first, he defended Meghan and aimed his jokes at the royal institution instead. He highlighted long-standing issues within the monarchy and framed her as someone navigating a complicated system. For a while, he wasn't targeting her at all. But over time, even that tone shifted. As the interviews continued and public perception evolved, the commentary changed too. The support turned more measured, the jokes more balanced. And just like that, another voice in late night adjusted its stance as the narrative kept unfolding. There's that clip of Harry at a movie premiere, chatting up executives and casually mentioning voiceover work. The moment with Bob Iger and Disney didn't go unnoticed. For some commentators, that was the turning point. What once looked like a royal fairy tale suddenly felt like a Hollywood networking sprint. Back in the past, royal marriages were about alliances, land, and global strategy. Now critics joked it looked more like chasing studio deals and entertainment contracts. Trevor Noah started off defending Meghan, but when the hustle became more visible, his tone shifted. To him, it stopped looking like stepping away from power and started looking like rebranding for fame. Then Bill Maher zoomed out and tackled what he saw as the contradiction. Writing a book about wanting privacy, then launching a global press tour to promote it, that disconnect became prime commentary material. Maher contrasted that with the late Queen's reserved style, arguing that real dignity often means saying less, not more. Living in Montecito while describing personal struggles also became a talking point. Critics questioned the awareness of how that message lands with everyday viewers. Nikki Glaser took a sharper approach, suggesting the relationship elevated Meghan's global recognition.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No, I refuse. I'm sick.
Built electric cars. He's going to Mars. Why isn't he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
In a way Hollywood never could. Remove the royal connection, she joked, and the spotlight might look very different. Across the Atlantic, British comics were even more direct. Jimmy Carr highlighted what he framed as a contradiction between feminist independence and stepping away from a personal career after marrying into royalty. Meanwhile, old photos from Harry's past continued resurfacing, proving that public records never fully disappear. Kelly Osbourne also weighed in, arguing that hardship narratives are harder to sell when paired with visible wealth. Then, Simon Brodkin gave the Netflix series a full watch. According to critics, what began with serious themes about media treatment shifted into branding-heavy moments that lost part of the audience. Even measured voices like John Oliver offered subtle critiques, suggesting growth requires self-reflection. When analytical comics start sounding skeptical, people notice. Satire took things further. Spitting Image created puppet sketches exaggerating Meghan's lifestyle branding and Harry's role in it. Some segments disappeared later, reportedly after legal concerns, but the internet never forgets. Attempts to remove parody often spark more curiosity, not less. Meanwhile, South Park built an entire episode around perceived contradictions. That level of satire cemented their place in pop culture comedy. When animated shows, late-night hosts, and stand-up comics all lock onto the same theme, it signals something bigger than just gossip. It becomes a cultural moment, and this one clearly hit hard. The satire wave didn't slow down after that. Once major shows and comedians opened the door, the internet sprinted through it. Memes, reaction videos, parody clips.
Focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
There's one person who's super excited, the Queen. Yeah, because for the last 9 months, she's been like, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal.
Everywhere you looked, Meghan and Harry were trending for all the wrong reasons. And the common theme wasn't mystery, it was contradiction. One of the biggest talking points was the constant message about wanting privacy while staying in the spotlight. Critics weren't confused, they were frustrated. You can't announce that you're stepping back from public life and then roll out documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and book tours back to back. That disconnect became the core joke repeated across late-night desks and social feeds. When the Netflix series dropped on Netflix, expectations were sky high. Supporters hoped it would reset the narrative. Instead, for many viewers, it amplified the skepticism. The polished cinematography, dramatic music, and emotional storytelling felt cinematic. But critics argued it also felt carefully engineered. The more serious themes were there, including discussions about media treatment and personal stress. But once the branding elements kicked in, the constant H&M, the stylized storytelling, some viewers checked out. They didn't see vulnerability. They saw strategy. Then came the lifestyle pivot. The Jam launch became symbolic overnight. A product meant to signal authenticity and cozy domestic charm somehow turned into another punchline. The price point, the aesthetic, the marketing tone. Critics said it screamed luxury while pretending to whisper simplicity. It wasn't just about Jam. It was about what the Jam represented. A rebrand attempt packaged as relatability. Comedians latched onto that instantly. It became shorthand for the broader criticism. High-end presentations sold as humble living. When parody shows exaggerate your business model and audiences nod instead of protest, that's when satire cuts deep. Meanwhile, Harry's memoir kept fueling commentary cycles. The length, the emotional tone.
And I'll be honest, I don't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. We've all seen Get Out, we know how this shit ends.
Give me those keys. Rose, now! Now, the keys! Oh, be careful, bro.
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Then his whole perspective changed.
Prince Harry really did that. At a movie premiere last year, he asked the CEO of Disney to hook his wife up with voiceovers. I admit, the monarchy has fallen off, right? No, because back in the day, it used to be like, if you marry my daughter, I'll give you Burgundy.
The level of detail about family tensions, it all provided endless material. Some readers appreciated the openness. Others felt it crossed a line into oversharing. The bigger issue wasn't the content alone. It was the contradiction again. Publicly expressing frustration about media intrusion, while personally publishing deeply personal family stories created a loop critics couldn't ignore. Across the Atlantic, the tone stayed sharper. British taxpayers had funded parts of the royal lifestyle at one point, and that history added fuel to the debate. Some commentators framed it as biting the hand that supported you. Others argued it was simply a family dispute made global. But either way, the emotional divide widened. And let's talk about the perception shift. At first, Meghan had significant public sympathy. Many believed she was navigating a rigid institution that struggled to modernize. But perception is fragile. The more appearances rolled out, the more carefully curated everything seemed. Instead of feeling spontaneous, critics said it felt choreographed. That's when patience started wearing thin. Even voices that once defended her began softening their stance, not flipping entirely, just recalibrating. The message changed from unconditional support to cautious neutrality. And in the media world, neutrality can sometimes signal doubt. The puppet satire from Spitting Image intensified that shift. The exaggerated portrayal of Meghan as a master brand architect and Harry as slightly bewildered struck a nerve. It wasn't subtle. It didn't need to be. The caricature amplified what critics already believed.
Now it's like, my wife actually does a pretty good Timon. You should hear her. Come on, baby, do the thing. Hakuna Matata, do the
both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
When certain clips later disappeared, speculation exploded. Whether it was legal caution or creative choice, the removal only boosted curiosity. Then South Park delivered its own take. The episode didn't rely on subtlety either. It zeroed in on the privacy versus publicity paradox and built the entire storyline around it. Animation can sometimes say what live action won't. And this time, the satire hit mainstream conversation hard. Another layer to this story is the fame dynamic itself. Meghan's Hollywood journey before royalty was steady, but not explosive. After marrying into the monarchy, global recognition skyrocketed overnight. Critics argue that shift shaped everything that followed. Every move, every venture, every interview carried a different weight because the platform was now massive. With massive reach comes massive scrutiny. And here's where things get complicated. The royal institution itself isn't universally loved. It carries history, privilege, and layers of controversy. Some viewers still see Meghan and Harry as disruptors exposing outdated systems. Others see them as beneficiaries who turned around and criticized the structure that elevated them. That split in perception fuels the endless debate. The Montecito Mansion became symbolic too. A peaceful California setting meant to represent a fresh start ended up highlighted in criticism about relatability. When discussing hardship from a multi-million-dollar estate, the optics matter. Fair or unfair? Audiences notice those contrasts immediately. Even social media influencers joined the conversation. Body language experts analyzed interviews. PR strategists dissected rollout timing. Marketing professionals critiqued branding choices. The discourse went beyond comedy. It turned into case study territory. At this point,
They just strike me as creatures of that generation. You know, you're just fragile. Just take a hint from the Queen, the recently departed.
Never complain, never explain, and rarely be
Just
heard speaking in public.
Complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree.
the backlash feels less like isolated jokes and more like a cultural moment frozen in time. Every new project gets judged through the same lens. Every appearance carries the weight of previous ones. Rebranding in that environment isn't impossible, but it's uphill. The biggest takeaway? Public trust is fragile. Once audiences sense inconsistency, rebuilding credibility becomes the real challenge. Meghan and Harry didn't just face criticism from tabloids, they became central characters in a global satire cycle. And satire has a long memory. Whether this chapter defines their legacy long-term remains to be seen. Public opinion can shift again. It always does. But right now, the narrative feels locked in. Comedians found their angle. Animated shows amplified it. The internet cemented it. And every attempt to reshape the story only added another layer to the conversation. This isn't just about jokes anymore. It's about perception, branding, and the fine line between advocacy and overexposure. And until that balance is reset, the commentary isn't going anywhere. By the time the dust settled from the animated episodes and late-night monologues, something bigger had happened. This wasn't just random teasing anymore. It became a full cultural shift. Meghan and Harry weren't being discussed as former royals trying to build a new chapter. They were being framed as symbols of modern celebrity contradiction. The privacy narrative kept circling back like a boomerang. Every time they said they wanted space from the spotlight, another project would roll out. A podcast, a docuseries, a book tour, a lifestyle launch. Critics didn't even need to exaggerate. The timeline spoke for itself. That's what made the commentary stick. It wasn't just opinion, it was pattern recognition.
I will not bend the knee and just go along with the nonsense. That's what's so annoying about them. The most of all, they insist that you go along with their nonsense and their insanity and their fragility.
Be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, oh, this isn't what I thought
What's
it was.
the point of being famous in a castle?
Fighting for Prince. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She's just got
The Spotify deal became another headline moment. When the partnership ended with Spotify, industry insiders started whispering about output versus expectations. Big contracts come with big deliverables. And when the results don't match the hype, the industry notices fast. It wasn't framed as scandal. It was framed as underperformance. In Hollywood, that can sting just as much. At the same time, Hollywood operates on reputation. Word spreads quietly in executive circles. If a project feels complicated or difficult to manage, studios think twice. Meghan's image shifted from fresh voice to high-maintenance risk in certain corners of the entertainment world. Fair or not, perception drives decisions. And perception had changed. Meanwhile, Harry's public image faced its own transformation. Once seen as the relatable royal, the fun one, the rebellious but grounded prince, that persona blurred. The memoir added layers of vulnerability, yes, but it also opened doors to scrutiny. Family disputes shared publicly don't fade quickly. Once details are printed and sold worldwide, they become permanent. Even royal commentators who once tried to stay neutral began choosing sides. Some argued the couple was unfairly targeted. Others said they invited criticism by staying in the media cycle. The middle ground got smaller and smaller. The Montecito lifestyle continued drawing commentary too. The California setting was meant to symbolize independence, but critics kept contrasting it with speeches about hardship. Optics matter, they always do. And when audiences see luxury paired with struggle narratives,
Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Our family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashian. Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he f***ed up.
Twat. He's a whining, whinging, complaining, woe is me, I'm the only one that's ever had mental problems.
Skepticism grows. It doesn't mean the emotions aren't real. It means the delivery becomes harder to sell. There was also the brand confusion. Were they activists, entertainers, producers, lifestyle influencers, royal reformers? The messaging shifted so often that audiences struggled to pin down a clear identity. And in today's media climate, clarity equals power. Without it, the narrative fills in the blanks on its own. Another factor fueling the backlash was timing. The world has faced serious economic pressure in recent years. When public figures with visible wealth discuss how difficult their lives are, people compare it to their own realities. That contrast magnifies reactions. It's not just about what's said, it's about when it's said. Then came the quiet distancing. Fewer A-list public endorsements, fewer high-profile Hollywood friendships on display, industry events where they weren't front and center anymore. In entertainment, silence speaks loudly, and some observers interpreted that silence as a cooling of enthusiasm from powerful circles. Still, it's important to recognize the flip side. Meghan retains loyal supporters who argue she faced intense scrutiny from day one. They point to media treatment, cultural biases, and unrealistic expectations placed on her. That support hasn't vanished. It's just not as loud as the criticism right now, and public opinion always operates in waves. The bigger question hovering over everything is sustainability. Can a brand built on tension survive long-term? Advocacy mixed with celebrity mixed with lifestyle marketing creates a complicated cocktail. Some brands thrive on controversy, others burn out from it. Which direction this one goes remains uncertain.
Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's f***ing life is hard.
Yeah,
you were
true.
the prince of
That's
a
true.
goddamn country who dressed up as a f***ing Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
There's also the factor of reinvention. Hollywood loves a comeback. The industry has forgiven far worse reputational dips when a project delivers undeniable quality. One breakout success could flip the conversation overnight, but that requires focus and discipline. And right now, the narrative still feels scattered. Late-night comedians might move on eventually. They always chase the next big story. But the digital footprint doesn't disappear. Clips circulate, memes resurface, parodies get reposted. The internet doesn't archive, it recycles. That's the challenge facing Meghan and Harry. Even if they pivot tomorrow, yesterday's commentary remains searchable. What stands out most in this entire saga is the speed of the shift. The honeymoon phase after stepping away from royal duties was short. Sympathy peaked early. Then came the interviews, then the deals, then the contradictions. And within a few years, the narrative flipped from support to satire. That kind of swing is rare and powerful. Ultimately, this story isn't just about two individuals. It's about modern fame. It's about what happens when royalty meets Hollywood branding. It's about authenticity in an age where every public move feels curated. And it's about the thin line between telling your truth and oversharing it. For now, the criticism continues to echo louder than the praise. The jokes still land. The contradictions still circulate. But public memory is unpredictable. Reinvention is possible. Redemption arcs are common. The real test isn't surviving a roast cycle. It's building something so solid that the jokes fade into background noise. Whether Meghan and Harry can achieve that reset remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the era of unquestioned sympathy is over. And in its place stands a complicated, highly scrutinized, and very public reputation battle that's far from finished. Every memoir moment eventually became a punchline.
Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of this. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I hate them. It started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H and M, and I just thought, oh, doof. Oh, Meghan, as the night, let me quote you here. Me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew.
South Park even reimagined Harry's emotional storytelling as a parody children's book about endless complaining. It was exaggerated, sure, but that was the point. The show highlighted the tension between saying you want a quiet, ordinary life and then stepping into every available spotlight. That contrast was the entire joke, and they didn't hesitate. The privacy message became the centerpiece of the satire. Magazine covers, television specials, global interviews, then speeches about wanting space. South Park framed it as a privacy tour, leaning hard into the irony. Traveling the world to explain why you don't want attention is the kind of setup comedy writers dream about. The episode didn't whisper the contradiction, it shouted it. Even scenes about house hunting for a peaceful community were turned into commentary, recording the process, filming content, sharing curated glimpses. Critics said it felt like broadcasting a retreat from broadcasting. The self-awareness question kept popping up, and the satire amplified it to the maximum. That's really been the pattern throughout this entire saga. Comedians didn't invent the material. They reacted to what they saw as mixed messaging. Privacy paired with publicity, simplicity wrapped in luxury, independence combined with constant media cycles. When those themes repeat often enough, late-night desks and animated shows will always lean in. And that's where we are now. Meghan Markle has become one of the most debated public figures in entertainment culture. Some believe the criticism went too far. Others think the jokes were earned. Either way, she and Harry became a permanent part of modern pop satire. From stand-up stages, to sketch shows, to animation, the commentary hit from every angle. So those were some of the most memorable moments of celebrities and comedians taking aim on live television and beyond. I'm sure there are clips I didn't include because this story has layers. Now I want to hear from you. Did she deserve this level of public roasting? Or do you think some of these comedians crossed the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into celebrity culture, and share this with someone who's been following the saga. And I'll see you on the next one.